Chairman, I want to start just by saying, as an engineering matter, that we are no longer dependent on spinning mass to regulate frequency or voltage. You can accomplish that with state-of-the-art inverters. That's actually articulated in IEEE 1541, and we've been doing it in Hawaii for years. I want to get to the issue of federal rights of first refusal. So commissioners, I'm highly concerned that the FERC's proposed plan to reinstate additional federal rights of first refusals for regionally planned transmission facilities is fundamentally anti-competitive and will hinder new transmission lines from being built. I don't ask that you take my word for that. The Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission had equally strenuous opinions to say about this. So I just wanted to ask you, Chairman Phillips, is the Commission still considering reinstatement of federal rights of first refusals?
Thank you, Senator. That is one aspect that's in our proposed rule on transmission, regional transmission planning. We propose that we reinstate the ROFR in very limited circumstances. For example, where there's joint ownership. But to be clear, we've had many comments on the record. We're reviewing those comments, and I'm open to changes to the proposed rule.
I would just urge you to look very closely at that policy, because I think we obviously have a transmission issue. You've articulated that well, and we do not want to create a situation where we're making that even harder to fix. The transmission and cost allocation NOPR does not propose changes to the existing interregional transmission coordination and the cost allocation requirements in Order 1000. I think that interregional progress is really key to solving these transmission issues. So, two questions. Chairman, does the Commission intend to undertake such action on interregional planning and cost allocation?
Yes, absolutely. I've talked about interregional transmission capabilities since I joined the Commission. You don't have to look any further than recent extreme weather events to see how critical and important it can be to maintaining the reliability of the grid. It is my hope that in the very near term, we can take up a proposal on interregional. You mentioned cost. I don't want to take away from your time. I have a lot to say on that issue. Well, we had a forum last fall on cost containment. And to be clear, this is something that I believe is critically important. When you talk about affordability, it's something that we're still struggling with the last recession that we had, the last economic crisis. People are hurting still. So when there's just a slight uptick in cost on energy bills, people feel it. People like where I'm from. And so I take this very serious. It's top of mind for me.
Yeah, I think one of the big issues is cost allocation, right? How do you do that fairly? And a key obstacle to planning some of those interregional transmission lines is that individual states and RTOs are using different planning models. So you get in sort of a food fight when it comes to cost allocation. So on that point, is FERC considering standardizing planning and planning methodologies for transmission so that we can sort of negotiate some of those food fights and agree to one set of rules of the road?
Cost allocation is certainly on the table. It's a big part of why we're doing our regional planning. We have a proposal that would bring states more into that process. I think there are many different ways you can do it. You know, there's you can do it as a ex ante approach. You can have a state agreement approach, which is something that we've approved in the past. I know my colleagues feel very strongly about this. We've received comments. These are all important reforms that we're considering.
I've got about 50 seconds left, so I'm going to throw you a more open-ended question, which is just the role of reconductoring in transmission. Obviously, you know, when you reconductor, you can dramatically increase throughput. You can, line losses are reduced. You can improve the economics, and if you can pass those along to customers, then you can really help them with their economic challenges. And grid-enhancing technologies, also things like power flow controls, dynamic line rating, have huge potential to help relieve some of this transmission congestion while you do the hard work of getting transmission built in across the country. So just talk about those things, how FERC is thinking about them as you look at the overall needs to increase transmission planning.
Senator, you are preaching to the choir when you talk about grid-enhancing technologies. Advanced reconductoring, I think that these types of tools, they have to be a part of our planning process. It addresses every single point that I raised: reliability, affordability, and sustainability. Dynamic line ratings,
And not at cross purposes. It actually aligns those things.
absolutely. Thank you. And when you talk about dynamic line ratings, we have a proposal, we have a proceeding that's ongoing on that. Ambient adjusted line ratings. We've accepted 6 compliance filings already where our regions are implementing, our utilities are implementing ambient. So this is something that I take very serious. It is top of mind for me.
Thank you all. Thanks, Chairman.
Thanks.